If you have opened 20 tabs about building and you still don't know your first step, this is why. And it has nothing to do with your ability. Most Barndominium projects don't fail loudly. They stall quietly. They bleed out in the planning phase, not because people can't build, because they start in the wrong place. And when you start in the wrong place, everything feels heavy. Here's what I see every single week with my clients. Smart people, financially responsible, disciplined, completely stalled. They're not lazy. They are overloaded. They are stuck in research mode with Google, YouTube, Facebook groups, builder websites, Reddit threads. One person says, it's simple. Another says, it's impossible. One says, any bank can do it. Another says, no bank will touch it. So now you don't just have questions, you have conflicting answers. And conflicting answers do not create clarity. They create hesitation. So you go to the banks that you already know, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Chase, and they say, no, not because your income is weak, not because your credit is bad, not because Barndominiums aren't real, because they don't offer this type of financing. And that single no quietly plants doubt. Maybe this isn't realistic. Maybe this is too complicated. Maybe we should just buy a home on Zillow. Momentum dies at that moment. But the project was not the problem. The sequence was the problem. Here is the mistake that stalls builds faster than anything else: designing before positioning. This one kills momentum every single time. People fall in love with floor plans. They adjust square footage, they upgrade the kitchen, they expand the porch, they talk about vaulted ceilings and oversized windows, but they don't know their real budget lane. And I'm not talking about what you hope you can afford. I'm talking about the number that you are actually positioned to build inside of, based on income structure, debt profile, land equity, construction loan guidelines, cash reserves, builder approval requirements. I could go on, and that number defines your budget lane. That budget lane determines what's sustainable, not stressful. Dreaming feels productive at first. It feels exciting, but dreaming without numbers creates emotional attachment before financial structure. And emotional attachment without financial structure leads to late-stage disappointment. I have watched families design 3,200 square feet with custom finishes and oversized porches. They show it to friends. They talk about it for months and months. And then real budget clarity lands, and their true budget lane supports a 2,200 square foot home comfortably. That is not failure. That's clarity arriving way too late. And when clarity arrives early, it builds confidence. When it arrives late, it feels like something was taken from you. Budget first, always. Define your budget lane first, and then design inside that lane. That's when confidence replaces anxiety. Second stall point, builder misalignment. You can have land under contract. You can have financing conversations started. You can even have architectural plans. But if there is not an approved vetted builder attached to that file, everything stops. Not every builder qualifies with every lender. Not every builder understands construction loan draw schedules. Not every builder has financial documentation ready for underwriting review. Some are excellent builders, but they're not structured for construction lending. That's not personal. That is risk management. And if the builder can't be approved, the loan cannot move forward. Again, not about the project. Wrong sequence. Third stall point, internet math. You see $37 a square foot or $50 a square foot, and you anchor to that number. but that number reflects only a portion of the build. It does not include site prep, clearing, driveway, utilities to the project, foundation, mechanical systems, interior finish labor, permits, contingency. When the full cost picture appears, it feels shocking. Not because the project is impossible, because the baseline number was incomplete from the start. Incomplete math creates fear. Complete math creates decisions. Clarity removes panic. Every time. Then comes underwriting. You've mentally moved into this house. You've pictured the porch. You've pictured the land. You've pictured cooking in the kitchen. Now you're waiting for formal approval. And waiting feels like risk. But most of that stress is not about underwriting. It's about uncertainty in the steps that came before it. When the sequence is clean, underwriting actually feels procedural. When the sequence is messy, underwriting feels threatening. Here's the core issue. Most people try to solve step 7 before they've defined step 1. They choose finishes before structuring financing. They price steel before confirming approval. They interview builders before verifying qualification standards. They emotionally invest before financially positioning inside their budget lane. Order matters. When order is correct, momentum actually builds. It's not chaotic. It's steady, predictable, controlled. That is how successful builds happen. If you have felt stuck, it's not because you're incapable. It's because no one helped you define your starting point. And without that defined starting point, your budget lane, everything feels overwhelming. But once the sequence is clear, budget lane first, positioning second, builder alignment third, complete math next, then design. Everything shifts. Clarity replaces confusion. Structure replaces hesitation. Movement replaces research. If you are serious about building, stop asking which floor plan. Start asking, what is my real budget lane? That is where real builds begin.